What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel here on YouTube. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and follow along. Today we are discussing how I flipped a boat for probably more money than some of my flips in real estate. Imagine that. So check this out. 2021, I bought a boat, middle of 2021, and I liked it so much that I decided to buy another boat. And I wanted to buy a boat that was being built because the way the market was, I didn't really think about it changing or appreciating. So yeah, about the end of 2021, I made that deposit, and then I was able to start picking out the materials and the colors and of everything in 2022. So beginning parts of 2022, market just went crazy. As you know, I'm in the real estate business. Market just shot through the roof. It's been on its high for a long time. And same with the boat market. I didn't really know because I just wanted to buy a boat and I wanted something new. And they built a nice 28-foot deck boat with two twin 400s, which is a 400 horsepower single engine times 2. So it was a pretty cool freaking idea. It was an awesome rig, and it was the first time that this specific boat manufacturer called Interceptor built a twin 400 deck boat, and that was freaking awesome. Everybody was talking about it, and as we're going through the process, you know, the market's been crazy, it's appreciating, all that good stuff, and we're going through the process, the family and I picking out colors, doing this, the stripes, just pretty much detailed the whole boat. And that being said, you know, it was completed about, I want to say 3 months ago, maybe 3.5 months ago, which was, I think, July. I took possession of the boat in July, middle of July, and just an absolute beautiful boat. Or, you know, check out the pictures below or up here, and I liked it. It was just a great overall boat. And then, guess what happens? Season changes. It's not as warm anymore, and we have the boat stored at one of our Lake Havasu houses, and it's been sitting there. And then I get a call from somebody that says, "Hey, listen, you thinking about selling that boat?" I was like, "Which one?" I was like, "Yeah, the one with the twin 400s." I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Like, you know, what's an offer?" He sends me an offer, or he tells me an offer, and I'm like, "Huh, interesting." So then what do? Because I kind of put in the back burner. It does cost me a good chunk of change every single month, but I put some good money down and everything else. So I start looking at other boats to see what's available, and lo and behold, I'm like, "Hey, this is good. This market's pretty good here. So let me just throw it up." I call up one of my buddies, and he put it up on all over the social media, and that's what he does. He's a boat broker, and he goes in and sells boats and off-road vehicles and such. So he tells me throw it up at a certain number. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." So I threw it up at a certain number, and then I took it off because I got, you know, seller's remorse. I didn't want to sell the boat anymore. I was like, "No, I'm gonna keep it. I can afford it. I got rental property. It pays for itself, you know, a few times over again." So I'm like, all right, it's dumb if you buy something and you create something at a decent price, and then somebody else wants to pay way more money for it, then you're going to create a good profit. That's what we do for houses. So I removed myself from the emotion of it, and I called him back and I said, "Hey, listen, Bernie, go for it, and let's throw it up. Let's throw it up at $280K. Mind you, this only has 12 hours on it, 12 hours on the twin 400 motors." And he said, "Yeah, let's do it. It's kind of high, but let's see what happens." So it sat out there for about 2 weeks. And then something crazy happened. Obviously, the interest rate went up, but people still started, you know, people are still buying recreational toys and vehicles and everything else. And I'm like, let's just keep it there. Let's see what happens. So last week, I get a phone call, and he says, "Hey, somebody wants to offer you $280. I'm like, "Really? $280K? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Yeah, sure. Let me know when they're ready to go." Guys, $280,000 for a boat, not for a house that you can live in, not for a place that you can entertain in. It's not a house, it's a boat that you might use 4 or 5 times, maybe a year. So I started thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, it sits in my garage. It's just sitting there. Imagine $280,000 just sitting in your garage. $280K in a briefcase. How long is that briefcase going to stay there if you knew that it was $280K in that briefcase sitting in your garage? Think about that for a second. So that's kind of what I was thinking about this whole time, and I'm sitting here like, okay, this is interesting. Let's take it. I told them, yeah, let's take it. They get approved. They tell me that they don't want to haggle on price. They want it. They absolutely love it. He takes it for a lake test. Bernie took care of it all. He took it out of my garage, gave him the code. He did it. He wiped it all down, took everything out, took him on lake test. They absolutely love the boat on the lake test. And this was just this last week. And they said, okay, they're ready to rock and roll. Now, I'm sitting here like, dude, is this really happening? Is this really happening? So I start doing the math. My all-in investment in this boat, check this out, $218K. I bought the boat for $218,000. Now, did it cost me $218K out of my pocket? No. I ended up getting a personal loan for the boat. My out-of-pocket expense was $91,000. That was my down payment, $91,000 for this boat, because I got financed for the rest. Whatever that number is, 120 some thousand bucks, right? $127,000 or some change like that. That's what I got financed for at a 4.5% interest rate. So this was obviously the beginning of 2022. So interest rates were a little bit lower. So I finance it, all good. My payment's $1,300 a month, $1,320. And I'm starting to do the math. I'm like, okay, I'm adding this up. I only have about 5 or 6 months. Remember, 5 or 6 months when the loan was funded. And that was probably March or something like that, March or April. So it's May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months worth of payments. So $1,300 times 6. That is my out-of-pocket expense, plus my $92,000 and some change for the down payment. And now, after the $280K is delivered to me, minus all of my costs, plus the insurance and everything, I'm looking at a $62,000 profit on this boat. Again, guys, this is a boat. This isn't a car. This isn't a house. This is a boat that you might use 5 times, maybe 6 times. And if you live there, you probably use it more. But nonetheless, we don't live there. It's kind of a recreational thing. So I sat back and I'm like, okay, what can I do with this money? What can I do with that big chunk of change that I get paid back plus my profit? Well, if I'm averaging a good 20, 30, 40% return on my money annually or more, sometimes I do that in 2 or 3 months, then it behooves me to sell the boat, create the profit, and I can buy the boat back down the way or buy a different one after I take the money and I go create more of it, if that makes sense. So we just got funded. This is just absolutely nuts and crazy, but it reminds me of something that when you remove your emotion out of a business transaction, you can actually let it work. People that base their business decisions off of emotion sometimes lose. And in this case, I wanted to cancel because I was emotionally tied to this boat because this was my first brand new boat that I created or that I had built. But after, talking to my lady and, I was like looking at the whole thing, I'm like, hey, this is gonna be a good flip. I mean, geez, we flip houses and sometimes our profits on houses aren't $62,000. Sometimes they're 30, sometimes they're 25. Yes, the last 18 months, some of them were 100K, but imagine that's a house though. This is a boat. And boat stands for bust out another 1,000 consistently. You guys know this, and if you don't know this, you will know this now, and you'll always know this from now on. Bust out another 1,000 because that's the case. $1,000 in fuel, there you go. Or you break a prop, there you go. I'm telling you. So I took this and I'm like, this is freaking awesome. So I just got the check that my buddy Bernie sent me and he deposited in my bank account. As you can see right there. It's right there. And it's freaking awesome. But the best part is, this is the best part. The loan that I have for $120,000 or something like that after I've been paying it for 5 or 6 months, it's still there. It's a personal loan that I use to buy the boat for, if that makes sense. The collateral isn't the title of the boat. So guess what I'm doing? I'm going to take the big chunk of change that I received, not pay back that loan because it's personal, right? It's already there at a 4.5% interest rate. So because it's such a low interest rate, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to take all the money, I'm going to use it, and probably make another 40, 50, 60% on the $270,000 check that you see. I'll end up making another 40 or 50% on that money, but I'm going to keep the other loan and it's only going to cost me $1,300 a month. Does that make sense? So this is where you can take something that you were personally involved in and you kind of didn't want to, and then I sat back and I was being a little bit more logical, and this is what happened. Now I'm taking that money and using it for other investments that are probably going to make me $3,000 or $4,000 per month versus a $1,300 payment. So does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I know it's a lot of numbers, but nonetheless, we flipped a boat for $62K. Pretty badass. Guys, if you guys want to follow me some more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow me on YouTube for more content. And the new tagline, or the new, I think this is the tagline, at Omar Alfaro on YouTube. Take care.